For now, though, I am joined in the studio by my first guest this evening, one of the most prolific artists of this year, Heacham-based producer, rapper and vocalist Xander William. Xander William first uploaded a track to BBC Introducing in mid-2021. There were a few tracks of his that we listened to, and only one of them made it onto the show. And then in April this year, Xander really caught our attention when he uploaded a track with his vocals called No Issue. Since then, Xander has had 8 separate tracks played on the programme, with one even making it as our record of the week, and he's become one of the standout artists of 2022. Hello Xander, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you for having me.
It's so lovely to have you on the programme, and I cannot believe what a year you've had in music, from our side at least. Can you think back to the start of 2022 and where you were at with your music then?
Well, start of 2021 was like, I was just kind of experimenting with sounds a bit more, starting to push my rapping a bit, because I'd only kind of started doing the British rap. Fun fact, before I actually rapped in an American accent, but they never got released. So I started doing an English accent, got a bit more comfortable, and then this year I was like, right, I'm going to knuckle down, I'm going to really push the brand of Xander William, because I didn't really have an image. It was more like just a guy in his room. But this year's been more about the image and finding my sound as well, with my album that I released, Sunset Moon, which was February. I was just focused on doing all the different sounds that I could. So I had like an indie track and then a few hip hop ones, some more rappy ones. And now I'm moving into earlier 2000s, kind of found my style now, I think. And I just need to move into making my own beats. So that's, yeah.
I think it's really interesting that you decided to kind of find your sound while releasing music as well, because I guess a lot of artists would kind of sit hiding everything away until they felt like, okay, this is it, this is where I want to be, and then release an album. Why did you want to do it that way around, to release an album and just be like, this is everything I can do, let's see?
I think it's force of habit. When I started music,
Really?
It was just like I dived in way too soon. Like my head wasn't in the right place to do music, not in like a bad way, but it was quite overwhelming to just be throwing myself in, releasing music, uploading it. I think my first track was on Instagram, and you had to swipe to hear the whole thing. So you'd hear the first minute, swipe, hear the second minute, swipe, hear the third minute. So
that's the kind of thing they'd now say you've got to do that to like engage people.
Yeah, I know, it's
you're
paid
ahead
off.
of the curve.
Yeah, I knew how to format my videos before it was cool. But yeah, no, I think I was like, I really want to do an album in 2022. I really want to do one, because I'd really come quite far since, I think it was 2017, 2018 when I started.
Made no moves. If I pop a pill, I'm popping blues. If you catch me faded, it's induced. So made no moves.
And I think it's the same now. I just kind of release stuff because I want to, and it's become a lot healthier for me to do that as well, I think, rather than sit on loads of tracks and wait for the perfect time.
So when did you actually start out in music, or how did you kind of begin making music in the first place?
So I remember specifically on a trip to Wales, I'd been listening to a lot of like Tupac and like a lot of classic stuff in high school, and then I was just like, oh, I reckon I could do this. And then I was listening to like some Post Malone, Denzel Curry. They're the two key people I think that started me doing music. And I just listened to them, and I was like, I could probably do that. So I was like, oh, give it a go. My brother actually produced my first track that didn't get released, because he wanted to start producing for probably the same reasons. But yeah, then I just started recording, and I kind of stuck to it for years. Yeah, that's the best thing I've ever done, is just keep doing it.
And it's kind of odd for us, I guess, that you've been doing it that long. And as I said, you kind of started sending tracks to us in 2021, and it feels like this year is the first year that we've kind of got to know you at all. Do you feel like that is representative of your journey in music kind of generally? Like, has it been very much a solo bedroom project until this year, and do you feel like you've branched out into the community a bit more this year?
Yeah, I think it was a confidence thing. I wanted to kind of keep it to myself, and an ego thing as well, I guess, because I was making music. I was like, yeah, I can rap, guys, but I couldn't, like, well, anyone can rap, but it depends how well you can do it, is what I say. But I was just kind of, it happened naturally. I was kind of speaking to people like over in Virginia and America, and they were supporting me, and then my friends started to support me, and then I was like taking inspiration from everyone around me, and I started to get better. And then the networking kind of comes with me just being like, oh, I want other people to hear my music, because I think it's good now. I want other people to hear it. There's no point in keeping it to myself. So it is literally just kind of taking a shot in the dark and being like, right, time to network. They always place importance on networking in music, but I think the best way to do it is naturally.
And how have you kind of done that then? Because I guess one of the signs of this is the fact that you released a track quite recently called Places, which is a collaboration with an artist called Led by Her, who's another like young artist who's doing amazingly well on the scene at the moment. How did you come to know each other and get to work together?
I knew about her when I started doing music because my brother knew her. So he was like, oh, listen to her. I was like, oh, she's cool. And I messaged her, but I don't think I was good enough at music for her to warrant a response, which I think is fair enough. I have nothing against it, as you know, I get people messaging me all the time, and if I don't, think they're good enough in quotations, you don't have time to just collaborate with everyone. But it came round to this year, and I was like, you know what, I'm a lot better now. I'm going to send her that. I think I just messaged her. I said, here's the track. I want you on it, and she clearly wanted to be on it.
Wow.
It's, confidence thing, I think. Again,
that's a massive sign. I mean, it's all these things. It's like me saying at the start, we had these tracks in 2021 and we get so many tracks every week, and one of them made it on the show, and now every single track we're getting is like one of our best that we've received that month. That progression, it feels so quick and so real. Like, do you feel that in yourself as well?
Yeah, it worries me a little bit because I don't know, like live shows I haven't done yet, and I'm a bit worried that I'm going to start. I really want to start doing them, and I need to kind of jump out of that comfort zone again, jumping just straight in and getting it over with. But what was the question again? I forgot what the question was.
If you kind of have realised that progression in yourself, because to us it looks like, wow, this has been a massive year for you. Does it feel that way for you?
I feel like today is probably a key point. Like, I've come into a BBC studio for an interview, which doesn't just happen to every musician. It's kind of, to me, it was definitely like a realisation of like a bit kind of pat on the back from myself. Like, actually, you did all right. Because musicians can be quite hard. I'm sure you'll know. You can be quite hard to yourself and quite cruel. So yeah, it's things like getting played and the stuff you say about me is really nice as well. So it encourages me, I think, and yeah, it just keeps me going.
And there's been a real change in your sound as well that you kind of alluded to. The last two tracks that we've heard from you, Cooped Up and Eyes, are very different from what we were hearing at the start of the year. Where do you think that's come from, the progression in your sound?
The progression in myself as well, I think, is probably where it's come from. I think the fact that I was doing tracks inspired by certain artists back at the start of the year when I did my album, and then throughout then I was... About summertime I was like, right, I'm going to release summer music and try and make it summery, but that kind of restricted me a bit more. So now I just kind of thought, it doesn't matter, I'm going to just make what I want to make. It's reminding me of my childhood, like early 2000s, so it's kind of it means more to me, I think.
Yeah. I love the way that music does that. It kind of comes back full circle with the age of the artists that are making it a lot of the time, and it's nice to hear that. Do you feel happy with where you are at the moment in terms of your music career as we come to the end of 2022?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't have pictured me coming in and doing this, obviously. I think especially because you go through the ups and downs, it's easy to say, oh, I'm unhappy with music or I'm happy with music, but in general, definitely happy with my progress. And like, I know personally that I've come quite far with my music. I know my music's good now because I send it in and it gets played. So for me, it's just building that confidence, and then definitely happy. So
what are you hoping for in 2023? Where would you like to go?
I'd like to perform. I know there's like a little bus at Wireless. I saw Led by Her on it. I'd like to try and get on that next year. That would be good. I said that when I went there. I was like, I need to be up there next year. And then if things go really well on the main stage, but we'll see about that. But yeah, more live shows, more music videos, and really just being myself, I think, a bit more.
Well, Xander, I wish you the best of luck in it, and I'm sure you're going to achieve so many things in the next year. If the last two tracks we've heard are anything to go by, I want to play one of them now. This is Cooped Up. Can you tell us a bit about this track?
So Cooped Up is about, it's kind of about, that's a really hard question.
I feel like there's a concise description on the uploader about kind of not wanting to talk to someone romantically. But for you, what is this track about in terms of, I guess, how did you come to make it, and the kind of sound and style of this track?
Sound and style was just Pink Panther was obviously really popular, so I was looking up her beat, and there was one that wasn't quite her beat, but someone had labelled it that way, so I was like, right, I'm going to use this. And that's it.
Well, here it is. Xander William, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This is a track coming out in 2023. It's called Cooped Up.